wonder no more. This is the future of YouTube. This is how YouTube is going to be, going forward. People are getting burnt out because people put in sometimes 40 plus hours creating YouTube videos, and for some strange reasons the videos just dies. Like, YouTube doesn't give it any kind of impression, and because of that, people are getting burnt out by the day. If you think what I'm saying is not correct, just go to YouTube and type creators getting burnt out and see how people are telling you that, look, I had to take a 1 year sabbatical leave, I had to take a 6 months break because the effort you were putting into creating videos was not commensurate to the returns. And because of that, people are realizing that the best way to create content is to sit down here, your camera on your hands or whatever. You don't even need a tripod, I'm telling you guys, and just talk something that will be of help to the next person. That's exactly what I am doing now. Of course, there's still a place for me creating edited content, but basically this is how content creation is going to be going forward. And a lot of the big time creators, they're already sacking their teams. They are like saying, you know what, I think it's no longer sustainable to have a 4-man team, 3 editors. What are you editing? When at the end of the day, of course, if YouTube has blessed your channel, keep doing it. But if you have created over 500 videos, 500 edited videos, and you are even hitting on topic that you think is relevant, and for some strange reason you are not getting traffic, then you need to create content exactly the way I'm creating it now. That being said, see, the value I bring to you today is, to remind you of the fact that there is time for everything. When we were kids, we were all taught this in our schools. Our parents taught us there's a time for everything. There's a time to walk, there's a time to talk, there's a time to learn to watch some kind of movies, there's a time to have a phone, there's a time to start to wear some kind of jeans trousers, buy some Nike shoes and stuff like that. We were taught. If you were not taught, then it's a different transaction. But a lot of us were taught. Our parents did do a good job to teach us that there's a time for everything. And if, for those of us that are Christians, the Bible also teaches us the same. But for some funny reason, as soon as we grow up and we already cross the line into the world, which is, for some of us, it starts at maybe 18, you start growing to 24, 25, the challenges of life begins to to hit you from right, left and center. We suddenly forget that training that our parents spent years trying to instill in us, which is there is a time for everything. And so because we forgot these things, some of us go into life, every little challenge we begin to panic. The challenge will come, hit us off our feet, and then we fall down, begin to cry, and suddenly forget the fact that there is a time for everything. You see, whatever challenges, whatever stress you might be going through right now, it could be anything. I'm telling you from experience. This is not something that I'm trying to come in here to try to quote you, something that was written somewhere. I'm telling you from my life experience, I have noticed that there is a time for everything, and it's not different for you, because it doesn't matter how difficult the season is. It's just a season. There's a time for it, and it will pass away. For some of us, it's a money problem. For some of us, it's finding a good job. For some of us, you're having marital difficulties. Some of us, your business is going through a plateau right now. It's like it's just at a standstill. Nothing is working. You put in all the effort, you listing new products, nobody is buying, and you don't seem to see the reason why. Of course, there's a reason for your business, your goods not selling. There must be a reason. Either you're selling the wrong items, you are not investing enough in paid ads. This is something that also affects me. All right, but then what I'm trying to say is that there is a season for everything, and it shouldn't always be that whenever we are passing through some little difficulties, we want to give up, want to cry, want to blame some circumstances. Oh, this is the reason why I'm suffering, and because of this I cannot seem to achieve my goal. The more you do that, the more you are forgetting that training says there is a time for everything. There's a time where it might be difficult for you to make ends meet. There's a time where you might be passing through a lot of challenges in your marital life. Time where you might be passing through a lot of challenges, even in your academics, for those of us that are still studying. And for those of us that have committed to having a business, this time is real. But the problem is, if you give up too soon, you will not be able to sit down at a later date to say, yes, man, that was a challenging time for me. That was brutal. But I stayed put. I kept putting in, changing the, refining the input. I kept making sure that everything that was, speaking to whatever project you are having, making it work, you kept doing it. You didn't leave any stone unturned. You searched for results. You looked everywhere. And at the end of the day, because you didn't give up, that time passed away. And now you're in a better season of life. You are in a time where things are pretty much just working. The business is selling. Your marital situation has been solved because you passed through that troublesome time, and now there is kind of peace in your home, and you're just relaxing and seeing that yes, there is actually a time for everything. All too often I see people give up. This YouTube game, there is also a time for it. There's a time where your videos will not get views. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter if you apply the best kind of editing. And then there's a time where, because you have stayed consistent to posting content, the YouTube algorithm is going to take a look at your account. All these things happens automatically. They're going to assess your account even without you being aware of it. They're going to assess your account, and they're going to give you a kind of a score that kind of unlocks a new level, a level of views, a level of impression. They give it to you. Most times people get this unlock after about 1 year or 2 years. Some people get it earlier, and don't be deceived, some people get it after posting the very first or second video. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to remain like that forever. You still have to go through that phase of no views, low impressions, and thereafter, when the YouTube algorithm have seen that they have paid their dues, they are consistent, they are constantly giving out quality content, they are not clickbaiting the system, they are going to be moved up to the next level of trust. And that always comes with more impressions, more views, pretty much more reach, and so on and so on. The same thing happens with a business. You have a business, you have to also pay your dues. There's going to be a time where you're going to be practically begging people to come and try out your service. And even then, even though you are offering your service for pretty much cheap or for nothing, people are not coming. But then there's also going to come a time where you're going to be so good, people will know about you, and from nowhere you realize that even before you open your doors for business in the day, you already have customers waiting outside the door. There's going to be a time for it. It doesn't matter if you start up your business now and just spend a lot of money trying to do marketing. You have to build that trust, and there's going to be that time where people do not know your business, and there's going to be also that time where people come to trust you. They come to see the quality of work you are doing. But unfortunately, there's also going to be a time where even after your business has blown up, your YouTube channel has blown up also, there might also come a time where things kind of get slow. This is just how the whole thing is set up, and your reaction to these different seasons goes a long way to determining your overall success. If you are somebody that kind of cries and gets very aggressive, gets very sad when things are not working, on the long run you might still not be successful, even if you have pockets of success here and there. But if your whole disposition towards the different seasons that you might be experiencing is that of, yes, of course, I understand that this is how this thing is set up, and you're also being very strategic, preparing in ahead for the seasons that will still come. You are doing the right thing. Sometimes some kind of preparation will entail you keeping money on the side. Some kind of preparation will also entails you, stopping some kind of habit, changing your lifestyle, in anticipation of a future time that will come. right? If you are kind of strategic like this, that will ultimately go a long way in determining your overall success in life, in business, in marriage, and so on and so forth. That is the message that I bring today. Like I said, YouTube content creation is going to be like this for a long time. If you like this kind of content, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Consider clicking on the like button, sharing the video. Until I see you again in the next one, peace out.